Hello, and welcome to another episode or another day of coding a React Native mobile app that will allow you to call and talk to an AI agent. We're going to use OpenAI, and the idea is not only to replicate what OpenAI and ChatGPT already do with their, for example, desktop app or mobile app, but it's actually going to be about making it as a call. So you say, wake me up at 8 a.m. and motivate me and remind me about going to the gym, for example. Or I have an interview tomorrow and maybe you want to have an encouraging quick voice call with somebody. Maybe you are abroad, your parents are not abroad, your parents are abroad, and why not just have a quick call? In the future it will be great to have different voices from celebrities or famous people, famous characters, cartoon characters, anything we can imagine. It will be great. It gives you a motivational speech in the morning or any quick call at a specific time. We have a GitHub repo already set up so you can follow along. So it's day 5. This is day 5. This is Friday, December 20th, 2014. Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays for those who celebrate any kind of holidays. What else? Should I jump into the technologies? Yeah, in just a minute. So, yes, you can read yourself if you want some of the features. Like we're gonna schedule these voice calls. Maybe you can even set like a normal alarm app where you say every morning I want to be waking up at this hour, or every day, Monday to Friday, etc. You'll be able to choose from the different voices. At the moment, we're going to use OpenAI real-time voice API. OpenAI. And thankfully, they also decrease the pricing, so it's going to be more feasible for me to build and allow for free trials. So you can see this yourself. This is the real-time API. They have, I think, some examples. Yeah, example applications, so you can test this in your console. Oh, they have even a YouTube video. Oh yeah, this came out a couple of days ago. This is very good. I saw this from Cloudflare. It's actually really interesting, this one, because once he has everything set up.
This page. Hey there, I'm recording a video about how you can do tool calling.
That sounds like a great project. What kind of tool calls are you planning to demonstrate in your video? If you need help or more information on...
Let's do this. Can you make the background color orange? Awesome. And can you make the text blue?
1 second, sorry, I did something. I wanted to make my video smaller, but I kind of messed that up. Let's see if I can paste only. Yeah, okay, sorry. So
Let's do this. Can you make the background color orange? Awesome. And can you make the text blue? Cool. Actually, let's make the background the color of a beautiful sunset. Ooh, and now let's make that text the color that would feel better, the text writing there. Make it feel better. It feels kind of gross currently. A little bit better. It's kind of hard to read. Can you fix that?
Let's improve the readability. How about we change the text color to a high contrast color, like
Awesome.
white?
Great.
Let's go ahead
so
and
that's
update that.
super fun, right? So what I did was I console logged over here. I console logged what was happening. You can see that I said I want to change the background color, and then he
Yeah, so basically what this video is trying to say and tell you about the technology is that this new OpenAI WebRTC real-time API, which is a long way to say that your browser can directly connect to OpenAI servers and you can do a real-time voice. They purposely, by the way, call it real-time API and not real-time voice API because and this is the first integration we're going to follow. Maybe we're going to do an actual call. Model capabilities, because, and the way it's pretty sure you can do real-time text only. So maybe I am misreading this, or real-time. These models are capable of responding to audio and text inputs over real-time over WebRTC or WebSockets interface. Yeah, so if I'm trying to think about what example would make sense to have a real-time text that is different from the text generation API. I guess if you're generating a lot of text and there are maybe two AI systems talking to each other and you need like a real-time communication and a continuous stream of data of the text, then maybe it would make sense to use this real-time API rather than the text generation or chat completion API. But nevertheless, it's you have a WebRTC way of doing real-time voice and text, and because it's WebRTC, and he has a GitHub repo, by the way, if you want to follow along his little example. If you want to do that, you can do that because of WebRTC. WebRTC. In the Mozilla documentation, you can see here, he has some explanation, what can you do and how it works. He has examples. We have a connect and disconnect button. You have some JavaScript code, and then you can have two browsers, tabs, or two browsers talk to each other. And basically it's peer-to-peer, so you don't need to go through a server. As long as the two browsers are connected to each other, you can do that. So it's a real-time transport protocol. Yeah, it's really cool. And of course, it works on every browser. And I think the majority of browsers, or the implementation is using this API, where as a little example that was here. I thought it was here, maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's here. Yeah, it can be very technical very quickly, which is good sometimes, but if you want a little kind of hello world first example to understand how things go, how things work. Also, yeah, this seems to be a good one. Get started with WebRTC. And there's a video here from 2013, so not the greatest, but you can see this has been coming along for a long time, and now finally browsers support all of this. very goodness. So that's why he was able to quickly put a website together with no backend, just your you have to securely now there's a way to securely get technically it's called an ephemeral API key, but basically it's just a key that is secure, so allows you to quickly allows you for a client like somebody in your website to securely use your API credentials but not have access to everything, and also expires very quickly. So it's secure. It's not like they have the actual, let's say, standard API key where they can generate and talk to OpenAI servers unlimited access, I believe, something like that. So it's a lot more secure. So that's how he was able to make this, and this came out literally this week. So but since it came out this week, most examples that I'm following are still using web sockets. We're going to use WebRTC. I mean, we in the sense like we're just going to write some code using examples and libraries that already exist. That it should use WebRTC to connect our mobile app to the cloud server on LiveKit, which is for free. And then we're going to write a little backend Python code or Python agent that is going to live in the cloud, which I got that example from here, because the main example that livekit.io have is this one, playground.livekit.io. You can check it out, put your API, OpenAI API key, and talk to an AI. I'll just do a very quick demo for anybody who hasn't seen this.
Welcome, Marine, to the nightmare of Phobos. You find yourself in a dark, blood-spattered corridor. The air reeks of sulfur and death. Ahead, the guttural growls of demons echo, mingling with the distant roar of heavy machinery. You clutch your pistol, the only thing between you and the hordes of hell. What will you do?
Run away. Definitely run away.
As you turn to run, a door slams shut behind you, trapping you in the...
Okay, you get the point. It's you're talking to an AI, you can make role-playing, you can be asking helpful questions, you can learn how to meditation. As long as you put a text instruction and you select a voice, and because actually OpenAI, you can change the voice by just saying things like low dramatic voice, it's going to try to do that. If you say speak very slowly or very fast or speak like a dog, I don't know if you can speak like a dog, but if you can speak in a different way, it's going to try to do that. If you if you say eres un profesor de español, hola.
Profesor de español, ¿en qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Me puedes contar una historia de un perrito y una perrita que son hermanos?
Claro, con mucho gusto. Érase una vez dos hermanitos, un perrito llamado Bruno y una perrita llamada Luna.
There you go. So see, you just have to say, you have to write this in Spanish or any language, and the AI talks back to you in that language, and it's not bad. I mean, you can definitely hear that it's an AI voice, but hey, I'm sure in 3 months, 6 months, you won't be able to notice the difference. In ChatGPT, I think few people don't get tricked, or people get tricked about this already. So I think we're very close to do that. Hopefully in the future they'll allow us to clone any voice. that we want by just uploading a little audio file. If you're interested to do that yourself at the moment already, there's a lot of different companies that allow you to do this, but the one I've found that works the best is PlayHT. Voice cloning. They have a free tier you can try. So I'm sure you're not supposed to clone celebrities or famous people or anybody that doesn't give you their permission. But for some hackathon or some little app that you want to show to your friends and family for the Christmas or anything, you can you can try this and do it yourself, and I don't think they're gonna block you. At least I've done one small test a year ago, and it definitely didn't block me. And of course, there's open source tools as well, but that's gonna be in the future. Yeah, so I was talking about this because this whole website is open source. If you click at the bottom, right here, it says live source with GitHub, and you can see that. Let me just make my mouse a little bigger. How do you make that? I thought there was a way. Cursor. Cursor size, medium. I don't see anything. Pointer, maybe it's called. There we go. I'm just gonna make that a bit bigger so maybe you guys can follow my mouse cursor a little bit better. Yeah, so this is open source. If you click on this link, it'll bring you to this GitHub page, real-time playground from live kit-examples, and they seem to be keep it up to date. People are keeping it real, keeping it up to date, and asking if there's any issues or errors. And the only thing, this is a website, which you can see here, but also a Python agent. So the Python agent, or little Python server, that's the WebRTC we're gonna, actually I'm not 100% sure we're gonna connect to. I think their cloud is gonna connect to our backend, and our backend connects to OpenAI, gets the voice data and sends it back to the client. And they manage here this WebRTC, which OpenAI didn't have before until a couple of days ago. And because WebRTC is a lot better than WebSockets, and you still need your server, they manage that. They have a dashboard to help you manage client sessions, reconnections, all that goodness that you need, and some analytics as well. And of course, they wrote a lot of the software for your server and your client that you need to do, that you need to use. So yeah, that's basically the main architecture again. Not today. We're gonna add push notifications. We're gonna allow people to log in. We're gonna use some kind of credit system for, not for call management. Credit system for with Stripe. Integration. Top up. So at the beginning, people will be able to use this for free, like 5 free credits when you log in with Google or Apple, or maybe email plus verification. Twilio SMS verification, which I saw Supabase has this authentication option called phone. Yeah, so once we have a Twilio account, which I think I recovered one yesterday, and I put this. Oh, you can even use WhatsApp for verification. Users will need to confirm their phone number before signing in. So we're going to use this to actually make the phone calls. Of course, it doesn't make sense for people to verify their phone if they're just going to use the app to make the calls, because we're not using phones or numbers or systems like that. So, you know, if they log in with email or Apple or Google, that's more than enough. But yeah, we're going to use Supabase for authentication and for storing the data in a database, which that's what they do mainly. In the future, we're going to do multi-language support. So maybe these features are more like a checklist. Yeah, and so far, in order, we're going to do this first, then schedule, then push notification, then login. And at this point, I'm debating if when are we going to put this live. After this, so after the AI voice works, after we can schedule a call, an alarm with a call, after you get a push notification for this, which is kind of very much connected, after you do the authentication, or should we do the scheduling, or should we do the Stripe integration first? I'm gonna be a bit more, what's it called, cutting edge or risky, and not add Stripe until, so deploy, and we're gonna do this later. So these features we're gonna build. Once these features are built, we're gonna push this live to Google and Play Store, Google Play and Apple Store. And then once we have, you know, more than, I don't know, 50 users in 1 week, 50 downloads in 1 week, or 50 calls maybe in 1 week, then okay, we need to add, I need to add Stripe, because this is getting a little bit of momentum and I don't want to lose money, you know, more than, I don't know, maybe more than $100. Oh, actually, maybe that makes sense. Once I spend $100 on OpenAI, then add Stripe integration. So unless I lose $100, I'm not gonna do this. Of course, it's good to learn how to integrate with Stripe, how to schedule things, how to add multi-language support, but for the purpose of this holiday, which already is December the 20th, for the purpose of this app and this first React Native application of mine, we're not gonna add multi-language support straight away. This is some resources that are useful for you guys, which are here. So there's a link to the live kit documentation, which is this page. Yeah, and the playground, which I was mentioning, this one here. Sorry, where did it go? Yeah, this playground, which is really cool. If you're going to use a React Native as well and Expo, you're going to need this plugin from LiveKit. And then if you just want to do some React Native Expo application, and it doesn't involve API, LiveKit or OpenAI, take a look at these two repositories which I originally took inspiration from in order to start this thing. Of course, if you have no experience, maybe this is a bit too many things to learn at the same time, and it maybe has too many features. So I would encourage you to, go to expo.dev and follow their tutorials. And here you can learn how to make your first little mobile app, and not only mobile app, because now they support the web. Oh yeah, so it runs natively on iOS, Android and web. They have a pretty good tutorial on how to make your first, they call it Universal Expo app. So it's a web app, or it's probably a TypeScript app that allows you to make a Android, iOS and web application. Yeah, it's really cool. All of this, of course, is for free and works on macOS, Linux and Windows. So you should be able to do that. And yeah, it's a really cool company. They are really active on social media, so you can follow them on X. And they, oh yeah, I'm not logged in. Okay, that's cool. So and yeah, and the good thing about Expo, not only make it easy to develop, as in the code is much smaller and much simpler for React Native apps, but also they have this Expo Application Services, EAS, and they allow you to deploy to the app stores or to people's phones in in minutes or very, very quickly. So instead of you running the build manually, going to Apple, uploading a file, that's instead of building the app, going to Google Play, uploading the file that the app generates, or open Xcode and using Xcode to deploy and build and all of that. Once you run a command from the command line here, expo EAS something, we probably actually have it in our package JSON. Yeah, it's EAS build profile productions. Once you run this command, or in our case npm run build :prod, your app goes to production. So if you change the JavaScript, I think it will update the JavaScript. If you change the native, it will do the build, updating the native side as well. So it's it's a lot faster and easier to make mobile apps. So with that said, I think we can continue to work on our little app. So where did we left off? So this is our Expo app. These are our called screen, which has two tabs. It has the call now and the settings tab. The settings is completely empty. We can actually just update that messaging, at least as settings when you go to it. Yeah, we can get rid of this screen content. And since now screen content is not being used, oh no, it's being used in the model. I want to get rid of, or maybe we'll keep them here. Yeah, just for Cool. So in settings, we're gonna add probably like a logout button, your name. Actually, one thing I was thinking about, if I can find my notes. Where did I leave my notes? Yeah, so one thing I was thinking about but I forgot to add, because if this would be an actual startup and you want to make money, you need to get users. So one way to get a feedback loop of users, it would be to for any new user to get more credits if you invite other users. So what is this called again? People call it growth hacking. Growth hacks. So in terms of growth hacks, there you go. Create a referral program which gives user free credits for referring friends. Exactly what I meant to do. So imagine we can have a button refer friend on WhatsApp or anything else. That person gets a link, they register, they get the free 5 credits, and you, the person that shared that link, got 5 credits. And now you have 2 users, and potentially one of them will convert and pay you to make hopefully some money, pay for the OpenAI bills. So that's something I had an idea, and maybe that's something we can do add in the settings in the near future. But today we don't have a single user, so we're gonna first make the app work by coding a little bit. So this is our main tab. This is where the connect button is, or call me now button, and the title is either connecting or call me now, depending on these 2 Boolean flags. If it's connecting, it's gonna say connecting, or if it should connect, means yeah, that it's connecting. But otherwise, if both are false, then basically we haven't started the connection, so we're just showing that. One of the things it does when you press the button is run this function called toggle. If we are not connected already, this is the if, this is the else. We're gonna set the state of connecting, so we can display the connecting in the button here, and then we're gonna run disconnect. Disconnect is function from our custom hook, which we took the majority from the LiveKit Playground GitHub repo. The way this works, we have a React context provider, which is this, and we have a use connection hook, which returns the context. What's in the context, you're saying, or what's been returned by the context? It's all of these things. This is a should connect Boolean, the connect and disconnect functions to connect and disconnect, the WebSocket URL, which we're gonna send to our backend, which is where again the little diagram. So basically our website also connects to our backend. In this case, there's another backend. I should probably make a little diagram with, not widescreen, with whiteboard application. No, what is a mirror? Mirror. I had another whiteboard. Maybe not anymore. Anyway, I'll probably use my tablet here. But our mobile app is connecting to our server, which is in Next.js folder, and is connecting to this live kit token route, which is this. So we are connecting to this, which is at the moment hard-coded to localhost. As you can see, I need to fix this in production. I need to put the actual production website. And once it connects to that, and we just basically send some state of the here of the mobile app, basically, you know, who's the user, what's the voice that the person selected, what's the initial message or system message that we're going to send to the AI, and once that is there, they call it instructions, then because we need to send this ID, once we send that to our backend, we get a access token and URL, and finally those are set to connection details, and we are sent back to our provider. Our provider is in here, connection provider, from our hook, and finally this data goes and it's available to the live kit room component, which is a live kit component that comes from there, which is great. It does a lot of the work for us. I just want to check one thing on their example. So if I go to their web example, because as remember as I said, this is a web example, so we have to adapt this code to React Native. They have a room component, if I'm not wrong. A room component. Stop mic track on mute. I wonder what this exactly does and if it works on React Native as well, but it's probably a good, sounds like a good thing to have. For local track, stop the underlying media stream track when the track is muted on the platform. This option is necessary to disable the microphone indicator, recording indicator. When this is enabled, Bluetooth devices are connected, they will transition between profiles, and there will be an audible difference in playback. I think actually I've heard this, but I'm not sure if this is what sometimes I listen to. So maybe this is not the best thing if you're using headphones when you're using your phone, so maybe it doesn't make sense to use this. Okay. And the thing I was trying to check was something. So I just fixed this type error because this function, it was returning just void, which is like nothing, see? But this type, which is the disconnect here, is expecting a promise. So maybe we can remove that so that it's actually better, but otherwise I could have added the await async keyword to say that this function is a promise. But since we're not doing anything that is asynchronous, actually, we're just setting the state in. Why is it doing in this way? I took this function from the useConnect hook, and here it says exactly the same, disconnect should connect false. But normally you can just say, oh, I see, because this connection details or set connection details is an object, right? So if I would do this, and just set the should connect function object to false. Well, first of all, I have a type error, so that would indicate me, something I'm missing. But if you didn't have types correctly set or TypeScript, or you could potentially think, oh, I'm just, setting this key to false. But because when we set originally this useState thing, this state, it's by default it's an object and it contains a lot of keys. So by saying now it's only, I just want to change this, it actually does not change only that key. It replaces the entire object, this entire object, with this. So instead of having all of these keys, it would have only should connect to false, which correctly is telling TypeScript, or TypeScript is correctly telling you that this is wrong. You probably don't want to do that. And so instead of either setting everything, manually and say, oh, update the state, but keep everything like that, set the voice at the previous voice, etc. This is a way of doing that. Instead of setting an object, you are setting you're passing a function to the set state method, and the function will, then the first parameter of this function, you will have the previous state with all the parameters. So WebSocket token should connect and voice, which are these 4 keys that we have, and then you can override whatever thing after. So it spreads the object, so it's the same as putting every key, previous, the WebSocket URL, etc. You can access those here, and just doing that, we will do that. So that's how that works. Cool. So yeah, this is how it works. We have our Next.js app, and we do run dev, I think. it will run a little development server. Which will get us a little connection. So these are the logs from the mobile app, and when I press that button, if I click connecting, will it disconnect? No. Why is it always disabled? It's connecting for. I wonder if this I think this finished. Or is it kind of trying to connect? Let me check something. Is set it's connecting false. Let's put a log here. Connected. And if we refresh that, what does it do? Let's see. Connected. So yeah, it does immediately execute this and finishes and says connecting to false. So now connecting state is false, but should connect. It's probably true. That's why we're still having that, and that's why it's disabled. So maybe it should be disabled only if it's connecting. So we can, even though if it's connecting, or yeah, unless it's unless it's waiting here for this to finish, we are gonna finish and allow people to disconnect if it's taking too long or there's some issues in the data. So now, if I press this, it should disconnect. Nice. So now we're disconnecting and there's nothing happening. And yesterday I already gave permissions to my app to work on to make the microphone work, but you can check those permissions and reset them when you go to settings, the specific app. Call me please, and see the microphone access is enabled. So that's why you're not seeing that it's already enabled. So in theory the microphone is already working, even though on the simulator, on the iPhone simulator on the computer, I'm not really sure if that really works. Yeah, so one thing we have to do, it's show microphone level indicator 1 call is active, similar to the playground. Then once you connect, hello, 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 hello. See this little thing
Hola.
here? It would be great to mimic that.
Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Nobody talk. Okay. So for example, as a curiosity, where is this? I copied the entire class, which is maybe too much. Oh, it's a UI button. So what was this? So when
Estoy aquí para ayudarte con tus estudios de español. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Let me see if there's a component called microphone. Micro, voice selector. What else could it be called? Voice selector? No, that's different. Microphone. Where could that be? So we have this component which is connect. Maybe it's called a connect button. Connect button. Maybe it's a connect button. The connect button has the microphone, and the microphone component. No, it's just actually an just a thing, just an icon. So I'm trying to find. Okay, who is using the connect button? Is there chat? Okay, so we have connect button if we're not connected, but if this is working, we're using the session controls. That's what they call that component, I think. And that thing that was moving up and down, pretty sure it's this multiband audio visualizer. So that's probably built with the web in mind. Well, I don't see yet any specific web APIs. They have styles, height. So the height moves for each frequency. The height of each individual frequency moves up and down, or it gets larger and smaller, the height of this little things. Actually, let's try it quickly on Chrome. Let's see if I have the API key here. Yeah, that's great. So if I do this, I open the developer console and I press escape. You see we have this animations tab. That should show you if there's any animations here. I hover here and you see that, and you can replay and see what was the CSS animation, where it was the component that was animated, and what was the actual style, like the background color. And you can even slowly make that animation to make sure you either you're learning how somebody made this, or you are tweaking your animation. But let's see if this is an actually animation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just a change of the height style, so it doesn't count as an animation. There's a background color transformation. Let's have a look if we can.
Welcome to the desolate outpost on Mars, Marine. The air is thick with the scent of blood and burnt oak.
Hello.
Welcome to the desolate out.
Yeah, so see, actually I wasn't wrong, I think. Am I right? That is the right thing. Audio bar. So we saw like this actual animation of the voice, of the AI voice, and our little microphone. So there's two things we want to animate and display to the user. So show the microphone level indicator and show a circle of the AI's voice when speaking. Yeah, so a circle animating increase and decrease. How do you say that? Show a circle or circle that gets larger or smaller when the AI's voice speaks. So that is basically when you press here in ChatGPT. We can even do the same animation when it's connecting, and when it's listening to us or talking back to us.
I can't actually see any
it moves
animation.
that. So yeah, basically this part. It also animates when you talk to it. So that is an interesting UI decision, but using the same component for when you are talking or the AI talking, because it's only one or the other. But in our case, we're not going to be that fancy. We're just going to put two things animating when your microphone is working and when the AI is working. So the AI is talking. So there's two things, so you can look independently, and it's easier for me to develop that as well. So yeah, that's something we want to do because it definitely helps the user understand if their microphone is on, if the microphone is working, if their headphones are connected, all those things. If you don't see the circle actually do anything, then maybe it's not right. We can change the background to BG Indigo. Should the background be darker or lighter when it's like active? I always forget what is best. At the moment, this color we're using 500. I'm gonna go 300. So everything is off. Let's say we start a connection and now it's like connecting. Maybe 400. It's a bit better. So you can still read the button. Yeah, and then you press again and it goes back to that little color, to that previous color. So we have, as I said, our mobile app connecting to the Expo and getting live key credentials, the access token in the URL. It creates a room for us, but because that's how live key works. And you have a room number, room name. Maybe this room name should be const room name should have the user ID dash this random number, which actually how long it's a 7-digit number, but is it a number or is it a string? It's a string, so it's a little hash saying that it generates to know, that. So I wanna later on prefix this with that. So in the dashboard and in the logs, we can see which user is creating many rooms or stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm not sending any user ID. In the state when the Expo sends data to the server, I just put it here, like its state. So user key is declared here. Yeah, thank you very much. I know. But yeah, we're gonna do that later. I'm just putting comments code that we're later gonna use. But for the moment, we have no user ID, so that we cannot prefix that. Cool. Can publish data, can subscribe, can update own metadata. Yeah, so these are all live kit specific configurations which I haven't learned or tried to change. There's some specifications about, you know, how long to wait until the AI stops, or how much silence the AI waits for until interrupting you or talking again, this kind of thing. So, and it seems like you can add a lot of different people in the same room. So if you make this a multiplayer voice calling app, that's how you can add more people, just creating new access token and then getting that token back to the client that will connect to your room, and then multiple people can talk or even do a live video as LiveKit allows you to. Cool. So we have basically the connection from Expo to the server. We have the authentication tokens and URL. It connects, and LiveKit, I think, now needs to connect to our Python server. So that's the next step to do. Let's do our Python server. Python server, it's one file with some dependencies. We need to put this kind of things here. It's actually not the best way, because this isn't, yeah. Dependencies, a Python file, and I forgot what is the rough tumble file. I believe this is for formatting in Python. Yeah, line height, length, linting, formatting. Yeah, so this is definitely for formatting style. So let's copy this Python file. We're gonna put this in WebRTC server in main.py. We're also gonna need the requirements txt file, which is where we have our libraries defined. So we have LiveKit. Basically everything is LiveKit. LiveKit protocol, LiveKit agents, LiveKit OpenAI. They updated this a month ago, so hopefully this still works. I don't know why this. Oh, choose a pull request with 3,000 files change. Somebody added the functionality to download the TypeScript. I think this would be cool because, you know, AI and now social media are really much connected, and people maybe want to download and share what they did. So it looks like, oh, they added a download button here, and it's gonna do that for the text. Okay, so I don't see any issues and people are reporting. The main library where we are using from OpenAI, from LiveKit, is LiveKit agents. Let's go ahead and go to web RTC server, create a Python 3 environment. I normally do this. Let's make a little README file for us and future selves. Web RTC server kit agent resources and example code taken from so we have an environment folder. We're definitely gonna have to do a git ignore file so we don't commit the packages, the Python packages. Now we can activate the environment, which is vm bin activate. No? Am I activate? Oh, it's dot and then activate. Okay. Started. So we activate the environment, which is now in my bash example, this is where I see that I have activated this Python environment, so any installed packages will appear here and not on my entire user computer thing. So the way I do that, now that we have that, we're gonna do pip install, exactly, and it's gonna install all those packages. All of them are using like greater than, so hopefully everything works, even with the newer versions. And we can do pip freeze to see what it installed. Installed all these LiveKit dependencies and plus the new one. I'm gonna do this because it's always good to know what version actually was installed. The protocol one is greater than 70. They are not saying which one. There's OpenAI that we are also installing. And anything else I can recognize? Not really. Jitter is something we saw yesterday, but we'll see if we need to dig more into this. So yeah, we have the dependencies for our Python file, and now we can read and understand a little bit better what this is doing. So we have our main function. So when you run python.main, it's gonna execute this. This is gonna execute the CLI import from OpenAI agents. Oh, one thing to know if you're using the Z editor is you can, in order for the Z editor to know which environmental variable. Oh, now you can just click here. No, what the thing I'm trying to say is like in order to tell that editor which environment to load, especially in Python, you can do echo. You can create a file, which I don't remember. Let me see if I can find this. That editor Python environment config file. It's something. Yeah, so you have to have this playwright config. So if I copy this, copy this, go to my editor, create a new file called, what is it called again? Playwright config. Playwright config.json. Yeah, put this and put the correct folder for me. It's venv. Save this file. Fingers crossed. I open the main.py file. Oops, and nothing. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work because I'm not in the. Because maybe I need to put this in the root and then specify that this is actually inside of the folder that I am, which is apps web rtc server / virtual environment, and I reload the language server. No, it doesn't seem to be working. Sorry, let's take this alarm. That's cool. So we have, so this not really work, but in theory this should work. WebRT, maybe I'm missing that. There we go. And now we have types working in here as well. Very nice. Oh, so there's, oh, look, .env was missing. So if we run this Python file, Python, it should give an error. First of all, we have no env folder, env file or environmental variables loaded, but also I think this is missing because I didn't install it and it's not in the. Yeah, there you go. I knew this was gonna happen because now we have types working and we can pip install requirements with the new .env. Oh, we got an error. It's not available. All right, what is it not working? This is a very popular Python module called .env, which allows you to load environmental variables, so it should definitely work. Maybe I'm just missing something for sure. So what else? What can we do? Check the Python version. If I do, that was the command I was running, Python 3. And then if you do which Python 3, it's telling you that it's in our environmental variables folder or environment folder. So it's the correct file and it's in the correct place. Python 3.10 seems fairly new, even though I know there's a new one. But if I do pip 3, oh yeah, which pip, that's the which pip. which means it's running the pip command from our environment folder as well. But why does it not like that? I wonder why. Is it that .env 005 is too new and something broke? So let's download it and try to install the previous one. No, that doesn't seem to solve the issue. This error originates from the sub process and is luckily not a problem with pip. But it is a problem for us. So I guess it's time to Google the error message and see what could be the issue. Because let me just double check. If I remove that, that works. Basically, if I try to install the .env file, .env package, I'm getting the error. So then the error is that, not those versions that I updated, but not really. I just specify the ones I've installed. I just want to check if that was the issue. The wheel package is not available. Oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this error before. So this is a warning, this is a warning. But then there is an error. The error is Bootstrap not finding something. This is an issue with the package mentioned above, not pip. See above for details, and this is a traceback, which is basically the, what exact code was executed, and it was the will command. If I just Google that error and say in the last year, to narrow down a little bit more, what things appear? I mean, it's not strictly necessary that we need this package. We can probably use it without and hard coding some variables, but I don't want to, specifically because I'm live coding. So I should be able to install this package. But maybe it's because of pip. What could be? So installing live kit packages, but not .env. Python. Maybe we should go with Python 11, 3.11 instead of 3.10. If I do Python version, it's still gonna do that because that's what I have in my local environment. Let's deactivate and retry to activate another environment with this Python version. Hopefully it will work. So if I then activate and then Python version, what version do I get? So it doesn't do that. And which Python? even though it's there, it's not there. So if I do pip install, it should give me the same error message because I didn't change anything. If I do upgrade pip, will that work? Oh, no. For a second I thought it was, but it gave me a different error, isn't it? Subprocess to install backend dependencies did not run successfully. This error originates blah blah, invalid command dist info. If I do the latest, will that work? No. Invalid command dist info. The correct Python. Ah, I remember this. I remember this. That's the thing, unfortunate thing about Python, that if it says .env, this name does not mean that's the name of the Python package. It could be a different name. Say it should be this. So there we go. So now we have Python 1.0.1, and now Python. If I run the Python main file, at least it shouldn't crash there. Connect to specific room. I thought this was just working. I thought this was different. Last time it tried. Maybe this is not the production server code that I was looking for. Let me collapse some code so we can try to understand what this is doing and go from the broad to the narrow. So it runs this, and then it sets up this worker, and then it runs the app. It has a type of room. There's a publisher or room. Then the entry point is this function. Maybe then we have some information in the README file. I thought I ran this maybe a month ago. Activate and then dev. Oh, okay. So we have to do start worker in development mode. Oh, there we go. There we go. I should have read that. So if this starts in the development mode, and I guess the other one is for production. In development mode, and in production mode it's prod, right? No, it's actually start. So that's how it works, and I press that, then it should start. Well, of course, once I have the environmental variables set up for us. the way this .env, it actually should load the .env file, which we don't have at the moment, and I just want to test first if this is gonna work. If I put LiveKit API key here and do print, is it print? I always forget how you do this. Print. Yeah. Why is it complaining? Oh, because I need to import OS. No. Yeah. Okay. So if I print the API key as soon as I load the file, there we go. Okay, so that's working. So if I have environmental variables here and I put them there, then it all should work. So which API keys do I need again? I need these three. So I need to set them up and put them in this file. Let me do that in my other screen. Yeah, thankfully the same API keys, API names, let's say environmental variable names are the same, so it's just have to put them in different places for them to be accessed by our Python server. And now we should have that working, at least in development mode. It checks if we have the OpenAI key at the beginning, and if not, it raises an exception. It's sort of like in JavaScript to throw an exception. There is some type issue here. I'm not sure what this means. Let's see first if it works. Modalities, audio and text. We can remove the text later. Oh, it's an up. It's a. Oh, it's a. What is config then? Where is config coming from? Parse session metadata, participant metadata. Oh, so this is probably. Oh yeah, it is printing the dictionary, so we can see what is getting connected. We have some update config, on response, on transcription, show toast, which I'm still interested in how this actually toast works. I guess it's for kind of some error message that is sent back to the client when the speech is started. Send 3 dots when the user starts talking, will be clear later when the real transcription is sent. So we could, potentially show those little 3 dots in a chat screen if we ever need that. These are the literal 3 dots that are being sent. When then transcription is finished, but we're not do any of that. But I'm not going to remove any code because still haven't run it, and I'm not still 100% sure everything that is working there. But we have this. We have our backend that gives us the API key, the LiveKit token, and the URL, WebSocket. Now let's run our Python server in development mode. We have something registered. We are connecting to the France server of LiveKit. And now I wonder what happens here. Hello?
Hey
Hey there. How's it going? What can I help you with today?
Hey, I am just finished making the first time React Native mobile application that works on
That's
with a real-time OpenAI voice API, and I'm super happy to be talking to you.
That's amazing. Congrats on your first React Native app with real-time OpenAI voice integration. It's a big accomplishment, and I'm thrilled to chat with you about it. How was the development process for you?
Yeah, I am really happy. Well, I'm okay. Thank you so much for talking to me. Whoa, that worked at the first time. This Python server is really, really good. It's really, really nice. So we got it working, guys. I think you could hear the microphone is working on the simulator, which is amazing. What else do we want? Nothing in the world. Just talk to an AI. Just talk to somebody. Cool. So that works. That's great. These are the logs from the server, from the Expo server. Sorry, from the Expo app, mobile app. We have some logs that happen here in a little Python server. It's a bit hard to read for me. Of course, the text or the audio is not really sent, which is great because I don't care what you say to an AI. Maybe OpenAI is listening, and well, most likely OpenAI is definitely listening, but I am not. Oh, okay. So the development mode, we see what both the user is saying and the agent. This is amazing. Congrats on your first React Native mobile app, React Native with real-time API voice integration. It's a big accomplishment. I'm thrilled. Yes, we were, and we still are. Failed to connect to live kit. We're trying. So that is pretty cool. I didn't have to change a line of code, and that worked. One thing I want to fix before we commit this in our Expo app is that actually it should say connected. So once it's finished connecting, so this is false and this is true, and then you should say connected. I am a bit tired, so I'm gonna ask my AI friends to do that for me. If is connecting is true, is false, and should connect is true, which means it's is connected, show connected. Otherwise, keep the same logic for the other states. Boolean logic for me sometimes it's a little more challenging when you're tired. And since you have all of these ternary options, yeah. So let's see if this is what I wanted. If it's not connected, I think it's finished connecting and it's connected, show connected. Otherwise, either those are true, show connecting. Otherwise, so the call me now button. Let's see if I can say AI describe this in English so it's easier to read. Document this logic. If it's not connecting, should be connected. If currently connecting or should be connecting. Otherwise, default state is call me now. Beautiful. Let's reset all our logs. Click here.
Hey there, how's it going?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
So this works. We've been talking for around an hour and a half, or I've been talking for an hour and a half. The next thing I need to figure out is where do I send the initial instruction. The initial instruction is sent here. This comes from the Python server, sorry, the Expo app, and is in the connect method, which comes from our use connection hook. And this is sent from our state, and our state, at the moment I'm hard coding this. So this is that big thing which we're gonna overwrite. Or yeah, I mean, this is default. We can leave the default there, but it's the instruction key that we want to overwrite. The way they were doing that is by reading the context, which, let me try to remember. There's the connection provider, TRPC provider we're still not using. So the question is, do we use Zostand for the state management, which we installed, or do we use React Context? I prefer actually the API from Zostand. So let's look at Zostand's mini help example and just do a very simple one, because literally this is what you need, and then you have a store, and then you just use a store. So let's use a little store which we already have for bears. So we don't have bears, now we have calls and sessions. Let's call it session state. In the session, we are gonna have like the voice ID, voice or selected, which is definitely an ID. Setting that. What else do we need? Or what else are you gonna do in the app? So we're gonna so they call it should connect. Oh, the voice ID is here, so we're not gonna keep track of the voice ID. Sorry, the voice is selected here, and by default is there. Okay, so voice at the moment it's already there. I mean, I could move it here, but we're not gonna do that. So it's working there. The voice ID could be changed by the use connection. So we should add set voice here because we're gonna do that. Const set voice previous voice. Yeah, it's basically a little thing that updates this object, which we did that. So we can set the voice later in our room or here, imagine imagine just a button, or as I said, like a list of voices, and you click, and then that's how you select one. Probably it makes more sense that there's a button that has a voice, a model, or it's called a bottom sheet scroll. Bottom sheet React Native comes up, and then that's how you select the voice. It's kind of like a menu or thing. So imagine you have a list of voices after you select. So we could probably do this later. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday for me. Maybe I'll take the day off and do it on Sunday, or maybe I'll just do it. Actually, I'll definitely do it tomorrow because I do have some time. I might just do it a little earlier or a little later. I'm not sure exactly the time I'm gonna do the live stream, but yeah, I want to do it tomorrow because I do have the time, thankfully. So select random voice, random number. No, I thought I had voice. No, select voice from a list of voice using or displaying in the bottom sheet. So once that's selected, we call this set voice method. It updates our little ID of voices which come from OpenAI, which we have put here. At the moment, the default is Alloy. And yeah, the thing I wanted to customize, not using too much this use connection hook and provider, because the connection is about connection. Now we're setting voice. See what I'm saying? This is not the greatest place to organize. Like, why would you think, oh, the use connection has set the voice? No, the store, the session store, maybe it makes more sense because it's it's specific to a session. You open the phone and you want to hear that voice. Next time, maybe the same. Oh, that's something I need to understand. How do you do just and React Native persistent storage? React Native, there's not example here at all. Oh, with async storage, async storage, which I think we already have it installed. So it's working with Supabase. So Supabase database will store things there. And let me see if there's a newer comment. No, but it seems that's it. So yeah, it looks like it's as easy as this. We already have this library installed for async storage. We have just a middleware, which is just a function, which is just a fancy word for we are storing something. We are running some function. So if we do this, so this is going to return an object, and we were using the set function to set in the methods in order to update the state. And you can use the current state to increase the current state, for example. But in this example, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna fishes. No, we're not gonna do fishes. Thank you very much. I wonder if this fixes the type issues. No. We're gonna set the instructions or instruction. What did they use? Instructions. So that's where we want to load cons instructions from our state, and we're gonna use session store, and we just want the instructions, so that is what we want. Which is coming from import use session store from our store, and is the default export, because see we are, oh my bad, use session store is this, because it's export cons. If we export default, then we're exporting this whole thing, and so it's the main, let's say, main export of this file, but we're actually just doing a specific one, and instruction should be a string, and now this is string. That's great. And we can actually put that default string now. Our default here, because instead of storing it here and getting and updating it, let's just put it here. And actually probably the user ID doesn't make sense here as well, but that's for later daters. I believe this is the default. And this is the default. This is the default. So what is this? This is a thing that sets and gets. Oh, sorry, no, this is the storage. So this is, I need to move this up here, and basically in most synced storage or local storage, you have to say the key. So this is going to be our session storage in order to make it unique. And then set, and then this is get storage, not set instructions. Set instructions, it's a method, and then there's a method that sets that, and that should be it. But for some reason this is giving me a type error. Source has one element, but targets allows 0. let's see if I remove this persist part. Will this work? It looks like it is. And if I add this back, there is this type error. Let's do the async later. Let's make sure Zastan works on itself first, which it is, but we don't have any function that reads or sets the instructions. So let's add a quick text edit. I thought it was text edit. What's it called? Text edit. In React Native, there's like a text input. And there's no text area, isn't it? No, text input. And then we just make it a bit bigger. And we import from React Native. And then what else can we set to make it bigger? We need to, of course, listen to on change. And we're going to display the instructions that are set on our state. We're going to import our session state. And as I said, we're going to listen to keyboard changes on change text. I can't remember what's the difference between text search or not. We're going to set. One second, guys. Vale.
Bueno, que tenga feliz Navidad.
Sí, igualmente.
Y que lo pasen lindo.
Vale.
Y bueno, ya nos comunicamos la semana que viene.
Sí, nosotros vamos a estar, imagino, la primera semana de enero aquí o la segunda. Pero ya,
Ah, bueno, yo te mando WhatsApp la semana que viene y ya me dices.
sí,
O no sé si me dijo el 27 que estarán acá, me dijo Elisa.
bueno, vamos a estar
Pero bueno,
hasta...
yo te mando un WhatsApp y ya me lo dices.
Sí, Elisa sabe lo que vamos a hacer.
Por eso, después yo le mando un WhatsApp y ya nos comunicamos.
Vale,
Que lo pasen lindo.
igualmente.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Chao. I'm back. Okay, so we are updating this session storage in order for a little text input to update the instructions when you type. So we need to update that to the text that is being passed. And we need to import a function which how do you do that in Zust? I think it's the same. Yeah, you select the method you want to do that. So maybe we can just do this, get the whole state, and we want both instructions and set instructions. And now that should work. Where is my input? Import meta is currently unsupported. Okay. And is that part of the stand? Yes. So this is not supported. Port meta. Oops. So something is not supported in React Native, some JavaScript global, which is probably this. There we go. Somebody did that. The following line seems to be incompatible with. Completely crashes my website. It's being converted into discussion. Can somebody use the Is there a workaround, or how do we fix this? Hermes is the JavaScript engine that runs, I think, both now on iOS and Android. The JavaScript engine developed by React Native or Meta. This can make Zeston to work for Expo when you enable project exports enabled. That sounds nice, but where is that file? Because I'm not super familiar. Sorry, somebody's sending me a text message and oh, my wife. I guess I need to send something to my wife immediately. So give me guys a minute, and yeah, I mean, it's not, we can actually probably just continue tomorrow. I think we already done a 2-hour call today, or video. Just to recap, I am trying to set some instruction here. If I just remove this here so we see something in the UI. We should see, yeah, here. So if I show the keyboard and I'm typing here, and then I press a button and say, yeah, this is the instructions I want actually to send to the AI, then it's gonna talk in Spanish or whatever. So this is what I'm trying to do, and also I'm just trying to save it in storage, and ideally in on device storage, so it works under, so if you close the app up and open the app again, this initial instructions for the OpenAI will be saved. So that's what we're gonna do next time, tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'm gonna commit this in a second so you can follow on GitHub. My GitHub is Janpaj, G-A-N-P-A-J. Call me please is the repo. I'm gonna commit this in a second with all the changes that I've done today. And yeah, I mean, it's great. We managed to make an app actually work and talk to an AI on React Native. I think this was really nice and really successful from that point of view. We're gonna add more functionality tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see where we get there. See you guys. Thanks for watching.